Good morning, beautiful people. It is the 3,649th day of this decade. Wow. Monday, December 30th. Overreaction Monday. The wild card weekend is set. The Patriots are playing in it for the first time this decade. Are they dead? Ryan Fitzpatrick took the Finns into Foxborough and sliced and diced the dreams of all Patriots fans that this dynasty is probably coming to an end. But just like last year, the Chargers were supposed to go in there in playoff weekend and get a massive win. And what did Tom Brady and the Patriots do? Buzzsawed Phillip Rivers right back to Los Angeles. Will that be the same this year as the Titans travel up there? I have no idea. The Texans, the Bills, the Vikings, the Saints, the Eagles, the Seahawks. Massive wild card weekend. And we'll talk about the coaches that are fired, the coaches that are moving. We'll talk about the college football national championship, which has been, by the way, seems like refs screwed a couple people this weekend, including Ohio State. I would never, everybody knows that me and the Ohio State cult have an interesting relationship due to what I said about one of their deities in the past. After one of their deities took a shot at me, who acted like he was coaching on the sideline of the game that he's no longer a part of, which, by the way, I'm okay if you're that dialed in. I'm okay with it. A lot of people are mocking Coach Urban Meyer. A lot of people are, not me. A lot of people are like, hey, Urban, you're in TV now. You haven't coached that team at all. You haven't been a part of the entire thing. Why are you acting like you're coaching on the sideline? Why after the game do you keep saying we? Why do you tell the actual head coach, Ryan Day, what we did wrong? I didn't say that. I actually enjoyed the fact that Urban Meyer is still all in with Ohio State because Ohio State seems to still be all in with Urban Meyer. And I think the Ohio State fans can definitely say that guy took 4 steps with the ball, got punched out, ripped out, scoop and scored touchdown. For those of us that hammered Ohio State money line, we were a little bit concerned as well. I think they got it right, though, with Clemson and LSU. I think those are the two best teams. Joe Burrow is putting up Madden numbers, video game numbers. I don't think that stops. I'm excited to see him get to Cincinnati. His coach will be Zach Taylor. But the Cleveland Browns, another team in the AFC North in Ohio, are looking for a new coach. The Cowboys are probably looking for a new coach. The Redskins found a coach in Rivera. Who's going to coach the Giants? Is it Matt Rule? A lot to talk about. 1-833-622-3331. Let's get on the horns. Let's have a Monday. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Evan Foxy, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a middle vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication. 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is. I appreciate that. Joining us at Nick Moraldo with his incredible new Adam Lefkoe sweater on the ones and twos.
Let's go! Had to show some love for the homies, the 33%. And like we've been saying all along, Eagles, NFC East champs all year. We knew it was happening.
Okay, we can talk about the Eagles, who Lefkoe's a big fan of. I'm excited for them to potentially get a playoff win, by the way, against a team that I think they kind of
blew it.
Pair up nicely with. I don't want to say the Seahawks blew it. That's Ty Schmidt on the board because Jason McAfee's taking another vacation after we had 3 days off last week. That's very interesting. Don't know how we came from the same parents. At Boston Connor is sitting in Ty's seat. At Tone Diggs. At Viva Lazito. At Evan Foxy and Uncle Todd's on the phones. 1-833-622-3331. A lot to digest after what happened yesterday. Packers get a massive win over the Detroit Lions. I mean, it's an ugly style of football, but it feels like that's just what the Packers are this year. They have this incredible ability to win these close games that might drive their fans crazy, might drive a lot of media pundits crazy about how they've lost it, but all they do is continue to win, and they were damn close to being the number 1 seed in the NFC. We're talking an eighth of an inch away from being the number 1 seed in the NFC. How do the Packers feel going into the playoffs? Ty Schmidt.
Yesterday was tough, but the Lions always play the Packers very, very tough and very well. I tell you what, they really could have used the number 1 seed because it's tough to think that they can go to San Francisco and beat them later on. But hey, all things considered, going into this year, I didn't think there was any way the Packers were going to have a first round bye and a home playoff game. So, but Rodgers, I tell you what, 27-55 is not going to get it done in the playoffs.
He even admitted, rough first half for Aaron Rodgers. They get the win over the Detroit Lions, just bury the Lions even more to go into the offseason. The Packers led for 0 seconds in both games against the Lions this year, come out 2-0 against the Lions. That's good for Detroit. That's good for the Packers. I have no idea what's going to happen in Detroit next year. Danny Amendola's jacked up. They got Matt Patricia back. Okay, so if the Seahawks get the win last night, though, the Packers are somehow the number 1 NFC seed. And instead, what happens is early, it looks like San Francisco is just going to dominate this Seahawks team. And somehow, some way, Russell Wilson has had this ability to put the team on his back when it looks like they are all for naught. I mean, that team might be... They're bad. They're bad.
Yeah, they are.
For a lot of football, they are bad. But then they have this magical ability to make plays. And whenever it came down to it at the end, they get the ball back to potentially go down and drive and win the game with a touchdown. I think everybody watching was like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Russell Wilson's going to march down the field, and he's going to score a toucher here with a guy that none of us have heard of. I mean, Tyler Lockett, I guess we've heard of. He's their number 1. But then Hollister guy, when did we hear of him? This year, I guess? Well, the last time they were primetime television, that's it. So they have nobody basically on their team, and they just march right down the field against a great defense in the San Francisco 49ers. Now, they get a 1st and goal on the half-inch line, the inch line, and they spike it. Instead of trying to ram one up in there, they spike it. Okay, wasted down. Now, you have Marshawn Lynch on your team all of a sudden. Did he look great? I do serve a tequila weekend.
I thought he looked great.
His first run there where he jumped into the back of his own guy looked spry, looked like he still had it. And if you saw the first play he was in, it was a play-action play where he ran off to the left. He tried to hit somebody. You could tell he wanted to, hit somebody again just to, see what it was like. Because when you're out of it for 14 months, I assume that's a little bit of a different animal. Marshawn Lynch gets back in there. He gets on the goal line earlier in the game, has a massive leap for a touchdown. I mean, a lot of things happen for Marshawn Lynch. Now, you get in the same a situation that I assume came up during negotiations on whether Marshawn was going to come back or not. Hey, coach, we're on the 1, we're on the half-yard line, whatever. Are we running this thing or are we throwing? We'll run it for you, coach. He's chewing his gum. We'll run. We'll run it. They get into a situation there with a 2nd and goal on the inch line to win the game, to lock up the number 1 seed for the Green Bay Packers and a bye. And what happens? A delay of game? How does a delay of game happen right there? How does a delay of game happen with Russell Wilson, who by all accounts is a very intelligent quarterback? Schottenheimer is a very experienced offensive coordinator. He was with us at the Colts, very good guy. Pete Carroll, everything. How do you get a delay of game in that situation with the season? A lot on the line there. They get a delay of game. They back it up. They almost still win. Alberto Rivera finishes the season in the same exact fashion as he started it. Just a complete cluster all over the place. Nobody knows the rules. They put a rule in last year because of something very similar to this. They refused to abide by it early in the year. Now the last game of the decade in the NFL, they refuse to abide by the rule. I mean, it's just one of those things where the Seattle Seahawks definitely shot themselves in the foot at the end of the game with the delay of game. Alberto Rivera definitely helped them out in screwing them out of that win. The Seahawks and Greenlaw, I believe his name is, with one of the biggest hits I've seen in football. And now we have an NFC lineup that nobody could have expected. That was an 1/8 of an inch away, completely different lineup. And now the playoffs are about to be an electric one.
I mean, the delay of game was egregious because you almost had another 30 seconds to figure out what play you're calling because you didn't run anything on first down because you spiked it. Not having, like you said, if you would have just on that and if you would have hurried up and instead of spiking, just quarterback sneak it, he's probably in.
You're on an inch line. You're on the inch line. I don't understand. I mean, I guess spike it gives you time to think and figure it out, which is okay. I mean, everybody does their things differently. But the fact you get a delay game after that, it makes no sense. It's almost like they thought they took a timeout.
Yeah.
It's almost like
that's what it felt like.
They thought they took a timeout because I wasn't even thinking about it either. I don't even think I looked at the play clock until I saw the flag go down. I was like, is this they're like delay game? I'm like, that is like a Freddie Kitchens Cleveland Browns move. Yeah. That's what that was like, a Cleveland Browns mishandled, misoperated, bad football team operation. Instead, it's the Seattle Seahawks. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not what you guys do, except for in the Super Bowl when you decide to throw it instead of running.
And how often during the week do teams practice goal line? A lot. I'm sure there's a little section on their play sheet, too, for goal line. If you're on the 1 yard line, call these plays.
Now, for to their defense, they just got Marshawn Lynch, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
So they probably weren't as, ready to go on a goal line to have Marshawn Lynch just go in there. Marshawn had his hat on, by the way, because he hadn't learned a 2-minute offense. I don't know, because the 2-minute offense is a completely different offense than the regular offense. Now, granted, I think the Seahawks should be running tempo 2-minute offense at all times. I think that's when Russell Wilson really shines because he has the ability to pick apart a defense who can't sub in, sub out, get an entire read, and their offense is just playing as opposed to overthinking. It doesn't make sense to me that they don't run tempo all the time, and granted, that's why I'm not an offense coordinator. I think the Seahawks do a lot better with tempo, but Marshawn Lynch was on the sideline with his beanie on. It was almost like they told him, hey, you don't know the 2-minute offense. This is all you had to know. Now just take your time. You're off. And then as soon as it gets on the goal line, somebody had to be like, yo, Marshawn, find your helmet. You're back in. And I think that should have been something that was in. Hey, if we get on the goal line, we got Marshawn Lynch here. Literally, beast mode is his name. We just flood him in here. It's over. There shouldn't have even been a thought there. It should have been just as soon as you get it, let's go. It was very interesting to me. I just thought it was mishandled. They're still in the game, though. They're still in the playoffs. Packers just don't have the number 1 seed, which I assume all of Green Bay happened. Saints don't get a bye because of Alberto Rivera not overlooking or reviewing that pass interference. That was pretty obvious. Alberto Rivera, I guess, sent a message to there was interaction between Alberto Rivera and somebody. There's an entire quote about it where he said, well, we thought that Hollister ran into it. He initiated the contact. I was like, everybody else in America watched that, saw the guy just grope the dude in the end zone. I don't know how it happens.
Yeah, he also said that they had a bunch of great angles from NBC and that they did quickly review it in New York, but they decided that didn't need the full review where they needed to take more time.
You know what? There's nothing on the line, Alberto. There's nothing on the line, Alberto Rivera. Just don't even, you know what? Don't even think about just taking another look at that because that's what the rule was put in place for. This is just another edition of the Alberto Rivera gang taking a stand against a rule that was implemented that goes directly against the on-field ref's judgment, which is what Alberto Rivera doesn't like. We saw it at the beginning of the season where they would never overturn a pass interference call, even if it was reviewed. Coaches got to the point where they would hold up the red flag, look at their fans, and be like, listen, I agree with you. I'm going to challenge this, but there's no chance this gets overturned. Throws it into the ground. No chance of it overturning because Alberto Rivera took a stand early in the year that he was not going to go against the judgment of the refs on the field. He thought that this new rule that was implemented, the pass interference review, was a direct shot at the subjectivity of pass interference in the game. He refused to believe that this is something that was just put in place to make the game better. He stuck with it all the way through the entire season. Coaches stopped challenging it, even though the rule said you could challenge it. Coaches stopped doing it because they were wasting timeouts, wasting pivotal challenges. And here we are, last game of the decade, where it should have got called down. It should have been looked at. And instead, what do we have? We have another conversation on Monday about how Alberto Rivera and the crew messes everything up. And it seems like this is going to be a problem. Now, the NFL did say they were going to take a look at the officiating from the top down as soon as the season ended. It's Black Monday. The season ended. There has to be somebody that can put in there for the playoffs because we got a good playoff lineup. We got some good teams in the playoff. This is going to be a treacherous route through the NFC. The AFC, nobody has a clue what's going to happen. Is Lamar Jackson still going to stay hot? I'd assume. Are the Patriots going to be able to stop Derrick Henry, who's 6'12", 270 pounds? Is the dynasty coming to an end? I have no idea. There's so many storylines that could possibly happen. The one that the NFL does not want to have is that the refs blew it again. And that just seems to be a mainstay of this 2019 NFL season. I don't like it. I don't like wearing a shirt that says Alberto Rivera is the Grinch who stole football. I don't like going on various platforms and saying Alberto Rivera, probably a good guy, completely inept at his job, but it just shows up every single week. It seems like this is the case. And in a league that makes billions and billions of dollars, it seems like this should be something that's figured out. And instead, here we are, biggest moment of the biggest game of the year. And once again, the Alberto Rivera gang screws it up.
Is there any chance that this is the last we've seen of Rivera, or what do we think?
I think so. I mean, they said as soon as the season ends, I would assume the NFL meant as soon as the Super Bowl is over, right? Because a new season begins in March, basically, or April. I think it's March is the official beginning of a new NFL calendar season. So I would assume that's when it is, but they're going to have to get somebody in there who's maybe under the age of 90, that can think quick. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to be able to do. You have to think quick. You have to be able to know the rules inside and out. You have to, and I just think I don't know who they're going to get for the gig. I've said this before. I've said this again. There isn't a feeder system for good refs. Unless Ed Hockley decides to fornicate every single night and just recreate new children, I don't know where they're going to get good refs from, because nobody wants to be a ref. I don't want to be a ref. You don't want to be a ref. Nobody wants to be a ref, just like nobody wants to be a cop. Everybody expects cops to be these incredible humans. It's like, who wants to be a cop? Nobody. People that end up having to be a cop are the people that want to be a cop. The people that end up being refs are people that have to be a ref. It's just like, I don't know how you fix it, but I do know the cameras are there to try to help, and Alberto Riveron refuses to use them.
Maybe start with getting a guy who's got a little bit of humility and who doesn't mind, like, putting a hand up and be like, oh, yeah, I was wrong. We were wrong today. Like,
no.
I think that's where it starts, because Alberto Riveron will never do that.
Ever.
Ever.
Never, ever. And then, like, they released that entire give and take he had with, who's a pool? There was some commentator he had a conversation with. I don't know if anybody saw that. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh,
It was a pool report, so I think it was just like where all, like, the reporters are around there. Like the...
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I've never seen that word before in my life. And it was pool report, and it was an entire Alberto Riveron talking about how the NBC angles we saw didn't warrant a review. And I was just like, I don't know, dude. I mean, this is massive implications. Week 17, the NFC West is on the line. I mean, there's a lot up for grabs there, Riveron. Why don't you figure it the hell out?
I did see that. I actually typed it and put it on a piece of paper this morning. So I did see the poll report.
Yeah. Dicks. Hit the music. Do you know that this time of year is the number one time to get engaged? So if you're in love and ready to get engaged, see our friend Steven Singer, the I Hate Steven Singer guy. You've been hearing us talk about him for weeks and may have seen his billboards. I hate Steven Singer. Other jewelers love to hate Steven. Why? Because Steven makes buying a diamond easy. No negotiating, no haggling, no nonsense, and no BS. Just one perfect price every single day. And he has the best qualities, best diamonds anywhere. Check out Steven's Ready for Love. You ready for love, Connor?
Oh, yeah.
You're swiping right on everything, aren't you, Connor?
Everything.
Well, don't swipe right on the other jewelers. Only swipe right on Steven Singer, because he has the best quality, best diamonds anywhere. His Ready for Love diamond engagement ring collection that is ready to go. Each diamond is hand-selected and picked by his real expert jewelers. No one selling online or anywhere else, for that matter, does it better than Steven Singer Jewelers. He takes no-risk shopping to the next level with his full 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee and fast and free shipping both ways. Whether your budget is $500 or $5,000, Steven has the perfect engagement ring for you at the perfect price. Visit the real Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philadelphia, or online at IHateStevenSinger.com with free shipping. Real diamonds, real experts, real jewelers. Steven Singer Jewelers. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. They got rid of that. The no.
Yeah.
That was a bad play, but I think they should
I
have kept
agree.
that.
Great commercial.
Yeah. There's a couple commercials that you remember. I'm a tailgating on my way to the tailgate.
Great commercial.
Great commercial.
I've about had it with that redheaded goober and that Alexa commercial with those headphones.
Yeah, I had no idea who you were talking about. You tweeted about that. You were like, I want to punch him in the mouth.
I'm sick of them. It must be my TV where I get them the most. I don't know. I can't stand it anymore. Hey, Alexa, what's on my schedule today? Haircut. Who cares? Are you going to put that on your
the dude who
schedule?
bounces around and looks at other haircuts?
That guy.
Yeah, he sucks.
He has a great jawline, though. You're going to have to really swing.
Terrible haircut.
Nick wants to fight this guy.
Sick of it.
I didn't know who he was until you tweeted about him.
Did you see the commercial? I sent it to you.
Nah.
Good. Don't watch it.
10:19 in Eastern Standard Time. We got some phone calls. Logan, Josh, another Logan, two Logans.
Oh.
Let's end that right now. One Logan. Logan, Fort Myers, Florida. What's up, bub? Logan.
Logan.
The other Logan was better. Logan.
Hey, so I got two questions for you.
Come on, Logan.
All right. So the first question is Ryan Fitzpatrick a first-ballot Hall of Famer or not?
Yes.
Should Sean McVay be mad that Jared Goff is his quarterback when there's Patty Mahomes and Lamar Jackson elsewhere?
I think it's something to think about. I mean, they paid him a lot of money, though. He's the one that decided to lock him in. Got into the Super Bowl last year, but when he started paying that cash, you can't pay the offensive line, which has been their problem all year and probably their problem for the foreseeable future. Look out for the Rams to not compete in the NFC West for at least the next 3 to 4 years. 10:20, we're back on the other side. You're listening to Pat McAfee Show.
Years ago, I had had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 1025 Eastern Standard, 725, 925. You get it wherever you may be. We appreciate you for listening. The Dallas Cowboys gig now. Obligatory Dallas Cowboys talk. The Dallas Cowboys gig. Jason Garrett doesn't have to be fired because his contract is up. So it's not like Jerry Jones has to give a, you're fired. Doesn't have to do that. Just doesn't have to re-sign him, which everybody is saying is probable. Now, there's a lot of names that have been linked to this Dallas Cowboys gig. A lot of names. We even threw in there that potentially Josh McDaniels gets fired. Or not gets fired, but goes down there and takes Tom Brady with him over there. That'd be wild. Then Urban Meyer's name started floating around because Urban Meyer, not only a legendary college coach, but everybody seems to think that he wants to tip his toes into the NFL water. Not a lot of college coaches have had success, especially those who coach in his particular fashion, but Urban Meyer seems like the type of guy who would be a nice fit with the Dallas Cowboys, other than the fact that Jerry Jones handles all personnel decisions. So could that be a problem for a guy that's used to controlling everything? I'd assume so. In my eyes, the person they should hire is Lincoln Riley. Because just like Cliff Kingsbury, just like Sean McVay, just like Matt LaFleur even, these young coaches who are supposed to be these masterminds of offense, which I think Lincoln Riley can take credit for. I mean,
For sure.
He's done very well with numerous different quarterbacks that have transferred in there. He doesn't want to have to deal with the general manager responsibilities anyways. He doesn't want to have to deal with all the glitz and glamour that Jerry Jones handles and what might call for, an interesting personality difference with a guy who owns the team, who's a billionaire making all the decisions. Lincoln Riley can come in there and just have to run the offense, run the day-to-day for the team. And I think what I've learned about Lincoln Riley is that his players love him. Like, Lincoln Riley's players love him, which is something that is a big, big part of being a coach, is getting your players to want to run through a wall for you. You got Dak Prescott, they're going to have to pay him. You got Ezekiel Elliott. I assume they're going to pay Amari Cooper as well. You have Gallup, who's somehow playing well. Cobb, who's playing well. You have a great offensive line. Lincoln Riley can go in there and get that offense rolling. Now, is the defense ready to go? I think they had some injuries, so maybe that'll be on the other side. But for me, Lincoln Riley seems like the right fit. It might not be the guy that gets hired, but in my eyes, Lincoln Riley, what more do you need to accomplish in college? Are you going to, in Oklahoma, keep winning until you get to the college football playoff and just get slaughtered every single year? Is that what you're going to do? You have guys who've already gone to Heisman. You've been there, done that with basically everything. I think Lincoln Riley's the right hire for the Cowboys. And I have no say in this at all. Obviously, nobody does other than Jerry Jones. But I don't know why that wouldn't happen. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I buy into it, by the way. It's not like the more and more I think about it, I'm going the other way. The more and more I think about it, like him with Dak Prescott could probably turn him into an absolute monster, especially with the success you've seen with Kyler and with Lamar. And Dak's ability, not only to throw, but he's also an athlete. I think an underappreciated athlete Dak Prescott is because he's a pocket passer so much. I think Lincoln Riley can get in there and do some real work for them. I don't know why he wouldn't do that.
I have a question for you. I saw a lot of people saying, do you think they take into account at all them getting their ass beat in that game? Like, does
Oklahoma?
Does that make
It's
you
all recruiting. I think everybody knows that it's recruiting. I think that's the thing about college football that I've learned through our, 1 year now in the college football world is there's some teams that just got dudes. And whenever you go down on the field and you look at one side and then you look at the other side, you're like, damn, this looks like some men over here, and this looks like some children over here. Now, granted, this team might have great scheme, and they might be buying in more, so they might beat the team of athletes. But I think whenever you look at what LSU has versus what Oklahoma was able to have. Now, does that fall on Lincoln Riley for not being able to recruit like that? Potentially. Oklahoma's a massive name. Big 12 is a big conference, so maybe it is his fault for not getting the same type of dudes that the SEC guys are getting. But for me, I think getting them into the college football playoff with the teams that he has, I think is more than enough to warrant a fact that, hey, this guy, his strategy, his scheme on the offensive side would be a good NFL coach. I don't know how he runs the day-to-day. I think he is respected and appreciated by his players, which I like a lot. But for me, I think he's the right answer. And I think, if you're Lincoln Riley, what do you want to do? You want to keep just getting blown out? Is that what you want to do? I don't know. How much more do you want? How much more can he accomplish at college at Oklahoma? Unless he takes one of those schools, big-time schools in the SEC or Ohio State gig, or I guess Clemson now, what's the next step for him in college? I don't know what it is. But I think in the NFL, the next step for him could be, hey, I could ride this train of innovation that everybody's doing in the NFL right now and really maybe take that next step. And if you win with the Dallas Cowboys, just like if you win in any place that has a cult legion-like fan base, you're a hero forever. And I think Lincoln Riley could be a guy that could go in there and win.
Yeah, I think right now would be a great time if I was Lincoln Riley to make the jump as well, because Oklahoma is a blue blood school. And if you keep getting beat like this in the college football playoffs, just like it happened to Bob Stoops, like you could get so far and then
turn.
Yeah, they're going to start turning on you. But so like right now,
how many times? How many times, Lincoln? Yeah, you can get us to the dance, but you can't move your feet. Trying to dose it down two-step with the big boys, and all we do is sit on the wall. That's what'll happen.
Exactly.
Boomer. That's all they'll do. They have a diehard fan base.
Oh, yeah.
And it's real, though. Like, Stoops, for a long time, was able to get to a big game, and then they weren't able to win. My West Virginia team beat the hell out of them in the Fiesta Bowl, and they were talking about how we weren't a good enough opponent for them. Like, Stoops was even like, well, we thought we'd get a better opponent or whatever. So it is something that's very interesting to me. And I think right now, if I'm Lincoln Riley, I'm very proud of the accomplishments that I've done in Oklahoma. I assume Oklahoma's very proud of what he's done. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be tough for any of these college coaches to turn their back on their players. I think when we talked to Norvell last week or 2 weeks ago, when he talked about how he had to address the team that he was going to Florida State, how that was the hardest conversation he's ever had because he recruited those kids there. He had that entire moment with them. Because in college, you're taking boys to men. A, B, C, So it's a whole new world. It's a very chemistry is high between coach and players. But for him, I don't know why you wouldn't go. And Jerry Jones, I think, should be making that call, honestly. Urban Meyer, maybe because he's a massive name, but I think Lincoln Riley's the guy that you're going to want.
Let me know if this makes sense at all. So I look at Lincoln Riley as just an offensive guy, but I think Matt Rule would be more suitable for the NFL.
I think he's going to the Giants.
Because I think he's more of like an overall head coach.
Well, he started in the NFL, too. He started with the Giants with Tom Coughlin. I mean, that is something where I think the Giants and Matt Rule, you might as well go ahead and just lock that one in, especially with the fact that he told his players, like, hey, I know you guys will be getting notifications. I want to address this with you up front. I am listening to NFL calls. I have to, basically, is what he said. It would be dumb not to. And from what it sounds like, all the Baylor Bears players were like, hey, we appreciated his honesty with us. We appreciated the fact that he has done a lot for us. He said he'll always be by our side. And I think they're proud of almost their coach getting this opportunity to go to the NFL. Just like Baylor players would be proud to go to the NFL, I think the way Matt Rule has handled it with his players, who, by the way, aren't transfers, I think the thing Matt Rule was most proud about with how much success they had is there was all homegrown guys that worked very hard, that they coached up. And I think his players saying to him, like, hey, it's okay. We understand. That's probably a massive weight lifted off of Matt Rule's shoulders. But let's assume Matt Rule ends up at the Giants. Let's assume that he ends up, and this is not me talking to Matt Rule, although I would consider him a friend of this show. I think he's going to end up at the Giants just because it's a coming full circle situation, and that team over there has some things that you would want in a team. They have an obvious quarterback that you can have for the future in Danny Dimes. You have a running back in Saquon Barkley that when he's trying, it seems like he's very good. I don't think he tried all year. I think there was a lot of situations where maybe he was hurt or something like that. So I think that's a team, but I think that is almost like the destiny is that Matt Rule is going to be at the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Except they're keeping Gettleman, which hasn't been great in New York by all accounts.
He drafted Saquon. He drafted Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny Dimes, that pick was...
He's made some weird free agent and moves along those lines and trades and things like that. I mean, you pay Odell a lot of money and then immediately trade him away.
I think
That's a weird move.
Well, I think that could have been a lot of other people wanting him out of there, too, especially after watching Odell yesterday. Odell got a first down. Odell got a first down in the middle of a quarter. There was like 8 minutes left in the quarter, caught an out for a first down. He walked off the field and started yelling at himself. Wouldn't talk to anybody, took his helmet, and then he walks back on the field whenever he wants. It's like, hey, listen, I love Odell Beckham. I love his talent, his ability. I don't think there's any chance I would want that guy on my team. I mean, it was the middle of a quarter. He caught a first down and just walks off the field, just keeps the ball in his hand, walks out as if I think he thought it was a touchdown. He walked off the field. He puts a towel over his head, starts yelling at himself, goes back up, puts his helmet back on, goes and catches a touchdown. It's like, oh, you're rolling the dice with whatever you're going to get with that guy. I have been one who said he's been very professional this year. Very professional. I think we expected him to be a lot louder, a lot more like, upset about the way things have gone in Cleveland. But that thing yesterday where they got him, maybe that was just built up. Like, this is what we should have been doing all year. That's probably what he was saying. Like, all year we could have been doing this, but we're not. All right, I'll get back in. It's third down. It made no sense to me. But getting rid of him, I would assume, was a lot more people than just Gettleman. Like, I don't think Gettleman made that decision alone. I assume there's a lot of people that are doing that. But I think the Matt Rule to the Giants is a foregone conclusion. I would think if I'm making decisions, which Jerry Jones tends to make good decisions, let's assume that guy, I mean, sometimes he's missed, obviously, but I think Lincoln Riley goes there. Ron Rivera goes to the Redskins. The Carolina Panthers, I think the Browns should hire McCarthy.
Agree.
I think the Browns should hire McCarthy or Jim Caldwell. That's who I think they should hire. And then the Carolina Panthers, I have no idea.
They just requested, and his name's slipping my mind, the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator.
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy.
What are they going to do at quarterback?
So I would, at this point, I'd keep Cam.
Yeah, I think you have to at this point. Will Greer, West Virginia Mountaineer. Go ahead, pal. Good beard, good hair. He looked like a terrible quarterback.
Not the answer.
He was throwing helium balloons. I don't know what happened. In college, I think he had a little bit of zip. It looked like he didn't have much there. Now, that team might have quit completely. You lose your coach, that whole thing. They might have completely unraveled. But I think Cam Newton you have to keep. Now, do you bring in a Greg Roman to be the head coach down there because you have Cam Newton and hope that somehow, some way you can get a Lamar Jackson operation down there? I have no idea. I have no clue what you do down there in Carolina, and I don't think they know either, but I'm excited to watch it figure out.
Yeah, as far as Roman, I think Cam might be a little too late in his career and a little too fragile at this point. He's taking a lot of hits to run that type of offense. But like
he
you
also
said,
had a year off now.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to reprove himself, right? Cam Newton feels like a guy that if he has to reprove himself, have like a re-emergence almost, he could probably do well for at least 1 year. I don't know if it's going to be 2 years. I think he's got at least a good year left in him.
As a fan, not having a quarterback on your team, it is a bad feeling. Like it's yesterday at the end of the day, I was like, should we like get Dalton or maybe Mariota needs a second chance? Like it's like you start saying some weird things to yourself when your team does not have a quarterback.
I mean, look what the Titans did. The Titans didn't have a quarterback, right? Marcus Mariota was their quarterback. I guess he was lining up under center. He was a quarterback.
By definition.
By definition, he was a quarterback, but he wasn't really that good, right? I think by all accounts, wasn't that good. They bring in Tannehill, and everybody was like, Tannehill? Like, this guy stinks. Tannehill has completely turned around the Tennessee Titans. He's been able to use and abuse the fact that they have Derrick Henry and a good offensive line that's moving people. By the way, one of those offensive line came from the Los Angeles Rams. Los Angeles Rams couldn't pay him because they paid Goff. So that guy goes to the Titans. Now all of a sudden the Titans have the rush yard champion in Derrick Henry. That's not a coincidence, by the way. These are things that happen. And if you keep Tannehill, I think Tannehill is old enough to know that he's not expecting $30 million like Jameis Winston. I think he has enough self-awareness to understand, like, hey, when I was in Miami, I didn't do great. I'm getting another opportunity. I'm doing very well. Let's build up this team and let's keep this thing rolling because that Titans team. Now, granted, I was forced to take a shot at them at the draft.
Yeah.
I was forced.
Had no choice.
I love Nashville.
Reggie's fault.
It was Reggie Wayne's fault. But it wasn't Reggie Wayne's fault. It was the person that was in the front row who was chirping Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne had to answer because Reggie Wayne had to answer. So since Reggie Wayne answered, that in turn made me have to answer. So basically, it's the buffoon wearing the shoulder pads in the front row that made me had to take a shot at the Tennessee Titans. But I will say this about the Tennessee Titans. Forever and ever, amen, they've been a team that's been this close. Every time we played them, we knew we were in for like a real fight. Like, hey, this team is much better than the record. That was the conversation every single time we played the Tennessee Titans. This team, much better than the record. They had this incredible ability to lose games back in the day. Like, lose games that they shouldn't lose. They just did it on a very regular occasion. Now, it seems like they're winning those games. And Tannehill and Derrick Henry seem to be the answer, but that offensive line is a big part of it. That Brown dude that they have is an animal.
They finally found a receiver.
Animal, because they used to have Walker.
Delaney, he got hurt this year.
Tight end, he got hurt. He was their only threat, really, for anybody. He gets hurt. Now they find Brown. They have a real team. And in the AFC South, who knows what's going to happen with the Colts? Todd, this Colts team is just, what the happened?
Yeah, I turned it off. Like, it was that bad. I don't know what's going on.
So I go home. I watch the 1 o'clock games here, 6 TVs, want to check out everything. I go home, 4:25 games. There's a lot of games, right? I forget that I want the Xfinity at the house. So I'm forced to watch this Colts game, snooze fest, and the Cowboys on, snooze fest. There's magic happening everywhere else. I can't watch it. I'm reading the stats on my damn phone. But that Colts team, well, they stink. What the hell happened?
Pat, I don't know if this is an incorrect observation or not, but as a Colts fan for a long time now, it seems like we are plagued with conservative coaching on the offensive side of the ball. Well, defensively as well. I don't know. It's like Diggs brought it up earlier this morning. Why are we being conservative in the last game of the year?
Against a team that already fired the coach and then had to say they didn't fire the coach. They did fire the coach. I don't know. But let's just go back to the AFC South. The AFC South, There's going to be a new coach in Jacksonville. The Colts, we have no idea what's going to happen with the Colts. The Texans and the Titans might be a real thing going forward. And that could be good or bad for the rest of the NFL, because if the Titans keep Derrick Henry, he's on a contract year, just won the rushing champ. If they keep him and he stays in shape and continues to run very, very hard, because through the first 3 years of Derrick Henry's career here, whatever, 4 years, how many years is he in?
This is
This
fourth.
is before.
Yeah, his first 3 years, he would have these spurts of these games that would just all of a sudden he would take over 200 yards, 180 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's like, damn, this dude, if they would just give this guy the ball, feels like he could be a guy, but it never happened. And this year they've been relying on him heavily, and I think it's because they built up that offensive line. Tannehill was not scared to give it, and then that opens up everything else. The Titans could be a real problem for the Patriots. Real problem for the Patriots. And I wouldn't say that any other year. Even though last year I hammered the money line for the Patriots in Tennessee, and the Titans won by like 20 or something like that. But for me, that's a team that can travel with that offensive line and run game. The defense is hungry, and Vrabel, he knows. Vrabel knows what's going on up there. Is this the end of a dynasty? Is this the end? Is this the thing that people have called for the last 5 years, the last 10 years? Everybody said there's no way they can continue to be this good. Is this the end in Wild Card Weekend 2019 season that the Patriots, who just got done losing to Ryan Fitzmagic, which, hey, can't blame him. Ryan Fitzmagic can beat anybody on any given day.
He'll mess around and win some games.
But is Mike Vrabel in the Tennessee Titans the end of the dynasty that sends Josh McDaniels to coach somewhere else and Tom Brady to go play somewhere else, Connor?
We are going to find out, but absolutely not. I mean, let's be real here. You said it. It's been 5 to 10 years everyone's been calling for.
5 to 10. I was still playing. Everybody was like, it's over. It was like, hey, I don't think so.
And here we are, 2019. I mean, we're 12-4. That's a hell of a season. Yeah. It's not gonna end tomorrow. It's not gonna end next year. It's gonna be a while.
There's no way you believe that.
Oh, I believe it wholeheartedly.
You think it's going to be a while?
I mean, you got to think we have a great core on defense.
Okay, so what if the Patriots get to the AFC Championship this year?
Yeah.
Sounds like, by the way, by all accounts, by everybody talking, sounds like that's going to be very difficult to do.
Very difficult.
If they get there, does the dynasty still remain? Is it still like, yeah, we had a good year? Or does the Patriots have to get to the Super Bowl for the Patriots fans and for everybody else to be like, dynasty's over? Like, what you want to, if they lose this weekend, everybody's going to be like, it's over. It's over. They made it to Wild Card Weekend. They lost. Tom Brady's contract's up. Nobody knows what's going to happen. The world will be like, it's over, it's over, it's over. They win. Then they win the divisional round somehow. Probably have to go to Kansas City. Then if they get another win in Kansas City like they did last year with D Ford lining up offsides, and then they get to the Super Bowl and lose, I think everybody will be like, dynasty still happens. Still the AFC champions. If they don't win the AFC, though, I think you're going to hear everybody be like, dynasty's over. It's done. Nobody knows what's going to happen next year.
Yeah, but we've lost that game before, and come back from it. If you remember 2015, we missed an extra point to lose to Peyton Manning in the Broncos. People thought the dynasty was over then. Came back, won 2 more Super Bowls.
That was Peyton Manning and the Broncos. That was not Ryan Fitzpatrick and the number 5 overall draft pick.
What's the difference when we're thinking about this? Week 17.
They have never lost to it like this in a must-win game when they have to win in Week 17, which doesn't happen very often. They've never lost a game like this.
You know what I think? I think that the Patriots are so good at being focused on the task at hand that they didn't even know that they potentially were going to lose the bye week. I don't even think they knew that. I think all they knew was they had to play the Dolphins on this particular day. I don't even think they knew what was potentially in the cards if they lost that game because they're so focused on the task at hand. I think they didn't find that out until afterwards. They're like, by the way, since you lost, you no longer have a bye week. They're like, well, we're on to next week then. That's all there. I think that their focus might have got them.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a train wreck from start to finish. I mean, in the Brady pick 6, you don't see that often. And we lose to Miami. We've lost to Miami every year since 2013. Yeah, losing to them at home. I mean,
they're not going through Tennessee, Kansas City, and Baltimore. It's not happening. They're done. They're dead.
Clip that.
Stick a fork in them.
Hey, clip what Diggs just said right there. Say it one more time. Hi, my name's Anthony DeGilio.
Hi, my name is Anthony DeGilio.
Yep.
And I guarantee the New England Patriots with this offense are not going through the Tennessee Titans, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, my God. Everybody in New England just got hard right there.
That's exactly what you want to hear.
I heard it. I heard them just start happening. Tents were just pitched all over.
I mean, I was hard all day yesterday after their loss. So,
Nate in Wichita, Kansas. What's up, pal?
Hey, what's going on, man? First of all, I don't want to waste your time. if you can maybe tell by my voice, I was at the Chiefs game yesterday. That place was not louder all day than when the Dolphins scored at the end of that game.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Did you guys expect the stadium to let you know what was happening in that Patriots-Dolphins game more? Because I guess Kevin Harlan was saying that they did not show the score of that game one time until the very end and had that massive pop. Did you guys expect them to show you, or did you appreciate the fact that you had no idea until the very end?
No, we were wanting them to show us. Everybody around me, everybody was pissed. They were all telling them try to get to show the game. Everybody wanted to know what was going on.
I think so too. I think that was very.
We were all real upset about it. There was a lot of drunk people around us, but
because the players were on the sideline talking to somebody who had a phone. They're like, "What the hell's going on in that game?" Because they won't show us here on the damn stadium. So I think that's the stadium ops making a decision that I don't know.
We were trying to find anybody that had connections. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but
your show, bro.
No, but this.
If you could stop coughing into the phone. What do you want to talk about, brother?
This situation with the Patriots. I mean, it's just an absolute nightmare. By the way, Connor, well, no, what am I thinking? I'm not sorry.
Oh, got him. We got to get to a break. He's not sorry, dude.
I hear you.
I think that was such an interesting move. They didn't show the score one time. It's like, what if that game got close with the Chiefs and we need a little extra motivation, Like, hey, by the way, Dolphins are doing the unthinkable right now. Like, that's something maybe you get in their minds. I don't know if Andy Reid was part of that decision. It worked, obviously, but I think if I'm on the sideline, I'm asking people with the phone, like, hey, what the hell is going on in New England? They're like, Miami's up. Oh, my God. Is it going to happen? It's happening.
I could see maybe in the first half, but when you're up by like 10, 14, whatever they were late, like show.
That
like,
place
show
went crazy. Kevin Harlan, by the way, calling both games. I think he was doing that for most of the game. There was a couple times I was watching the game. I was like, is he watching the same thing as me? And I was like, had the Dolphins-Patriots game underneath. I'm like, I think he was going.
It's the worst part. I had to listen to Kevin Harlan make the call before I actually saw it on the live stream.
Hey, he's talented.
He's very
talented.
Yeah.
10:47. We'll be back on the other side. A couple more phone calls. Wrapping up hour one here on this overreaction 3,649th day of the decade. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction. But most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping and in discreet packaging. Get started with a free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on beautiful Monday, December 30th, 2019. Some notable news with Nick as we wrap up this first hour. What did we miss, Nick?
It's National Bacon Day.
Who?
Hey. National Bacon Day.
Good for bacon, man. Good for bacon.
Is there still a shortage?
I haven't heard of any shortage, but I just know it's good news for you guys on the keto diet.
Still, I'm back on the keto diet. Me and Zito, the Accountability Buddy 2020 program has began a couple days early. Zito and I, for every day, we can remain on a fitness plan. Even if we have a little slip up with something we eat, as long as we work out every single day, $500 will go into a bunny? No, a
pot?
Piggy bank?
Kit. Yeah, there we go. Into a piggy bank that we'll give away through Cash App. Today's day one. Zito and I had keto for breakfast, and we're on the right path, to be honest. $500 seems to be going into the piggy bank starting today.
I just want to say you were a good buddy today. You told me just eat the meat on it. And I said, yeah, I'm going to go keto.
Yeah, that's what we do. We're Accountability Buddies, me and Zito. If you'd like to join in with us, go ahead and tweet us how you're doing each day. We'd appreciate it. Accountability Buddies 2020, Zito and I, to give money away on Cash App. Diggs, are you involved too?
I am dieting, yes.
Do you want to be a part of this? Or
I
no?
would love to.
Okay, so the Accountability Buddies is now 3. Me, Diggs, and Zito, $500 per day that we live life like a fit fam.
Let's go. Pulling for you guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I need it for sure.
So do I.
I need it bad. Yesterday, I almost started it yesterday. Anything else?
It's Tiger Woods and LeBron James' birthday today.
And Tyrese Gibson.
Same birthday.
Tyrese, the guy that almost got beat up by The Rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not happy about Hobbs and Shaw. I watched that this last weekend. It was good. Hobbs and Shaw was good.
Well, they cut him out.
I've never seen any of the other Fast and Furiouses. I've only seen Hobbs and Shaw. If that's what they're all like, I've missed a lot.
Oh, yeah, you did.
They're even better, too.
Even better. No.
Fast and Furious 5.
All I know Tyrese from is almost ruining $1 billion deal and trying to fight The Rock. And he's handsome. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to Tiger. Happy birthday to LeBron. I hope you guys all have a great day like we're having. We'll be back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana!
Oh, you forgot.
Over 60% of men experience significant hair loss by age 35. Some shave it or hide it, but some of us want to treat it. That's why there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get personalized hair loss treatment and unlimited follow-ups from a U.S. licensed physician. If treatment is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping. Get started today with a free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
It's the perfect occasion for a mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is, Chase Rice. I appreciate you for that, ladies and gentlemen. It's the second hour of the Pat McAfee Show here on 3,649th day of the decade, Monday, December 30th, and we have some breaking news. The video play. Breaking news, Diggs.
Just tweeted from Adam Schefter. The 2 final and prime candidates, it seems, for the Giants head coaching job will be Baylor head coach Matt Rule and Patriots offense coordinator Josh McDaniels.
Okay, so I'm not sure that's breaking news because if
I said you already broke it, kind of.
Yeah, but if those two say no, like they're gonna have to look for another coach. You know what I mean? Like Schefter is eating today because he could just say breaking news per sources. The Carolina Panthers are looking to hire Bill Belichick as their head coach. You know, like there's things you can just throw out there. What we said in the first hour, if you're just joining us now, welcome to the show. By the way, this is the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm being joined by Nick Moraldo, Tony DeGilio, Connor, Ty, Zito, Foxy, and Uncle Todd is on the phones, 1-833-622-3331 if you want to join the conversation. What we said in the first hour was, I think Lincoln Riley should be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I understand Urban Meyer's name has been floating around, but I think Lincoln Riley brings a great energy to that team. He doesn't have to deal with anything like Jerry Jones deal with everything else, the GM, the conversations, the conferences, the hard questions. Let Lincoln Riley, a la Cliff Kingsbury, a la Sean Payton, even Matt LaFleur, let Lincoln Riley bring in a little energy to that building, utilize Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Cobb, Gallup, that offensive line, Ezekiel Elliott, and kind of make them a top-tier offense. Not like they weren't this year, but just a weapon every single game. Bring in a very experienced defensive coordinator. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's the dude from Cleveland. Is it Pettin in Cleveland?
No, he's in Green Bay.
Oh, you can't get him.
Probably not.
He was at one point in Cleveland, correct?
He was
he's
the
a
head
head
coach.
coach there.
He stunk.
With Manziel, though. I mean,
Tough.
Give him a break.
Tough. Did he ruin Manziel? I don't know. But getting a good defensive coordinator there with Lincoln Riley running the offense and the day-to-day operations, I think that is a very good hire for the Dallas Cowboys. The more and more I think about it, the more and more clear it looks like that's who they should get. Now, granted, that stinks for Boomer Sooner fans, but it's only a matter of a couple years before you start to hate him because he gets you to the college football playoff, but you get blown out inevitably by a team that can either recruit better or something along those lines. Now, for the open job at the Browns, I think it should be an experienced coach, a coach that understands how to handle not only personalities, but day-to-day. It may be a little bit somebody who's a little hard-nosed, a little bit of a hard-ass. McCarthy would be a great coach there. I also believe Jim Caldwell would be a good coach there. Excited to see how the Haslam family and the Browns organization fornicates that one up. Very excited for that. I think down at Washington Redskins, it's already been reported that Ron Rivera is basically the new head coach there. Not sure how that's going to go. Ron Rivera, I know nothing about him. He's a winning head coach, though. Got fired mid-season, which I think was a respectful thing between him and the Carolina Panthers ownership. I'm excited to see what he does with the Washington Redskins team that has looked good towards the end of the year, and Dwayne Haskins has looked like a great quarterback. Excited to see him jump from year one to year two. Whether he makes big strides or just kind of remains the same, that'll tell a lot on how successful Ron Rivera is. Now, for the New York Giants, I feel Matt Rule is a lock for that job. I think Matt Rule, not only a great coach at Baylor, but he started with Tom Coughlin, which obviously has massive ties to the New York Giants organization. Matt Rule is a guy who in college has had success without the transfer portal, has built up his own guys, has a great quarterback, has a great running back of the future, has some pieces to build on, and will be able to establish a good leadership and a good accountability type mindset for the New York Giants organization, which has to happen been due to them being in a massive city with a lot of spotlight and a lot of disappointment in recent years. I don't know if McDaniels takes that job. A lot of people said McDaniels was potential going to the Browns. Remember, he got on a plane and turned around with Andrew Luck as the potential quarterback. I'm not sure Josh McDaniels is going to leave the Patriots unless it's for a beautiful, perfect position, which maybe he thinks the Giants is, maybe he thinks the Browns is. But for me, I think Matt Rule is going to be the head coach of the Giants. I think Lincoln Riley is going to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, or should be the head coach of the Cowboys. I think McCarthy or Caldwell are going to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And then just go ahead and put those two in for the Carolina Panthers as well. That's how I feel.
Can we throw another name into the mix? Ian Rappaport just tweeted this out a little bit ago. Ravens defensive coordinator Don Wink Martindale is up for some jobs, and he's going to be paired with LSU's offensive coordinator Joe Brady, bringing him along as his OC if he goes anywhere.
Oh, he knows him? Like they're best friends? Yep. That's not a bad play. Maybe Joe Brady should be looking for a head coaching gig. I think, in my eyes, I don't know how many D coordinators are getting head coaching jobs anymore. I don't know how many, especially with the way the league has become. Now, granted, defense is becoming much more important in the NFL. I think you saw a couple teams, Patriots, Niners.
Packers.
As of late, Packers, yeah.
Patriots, Niners, Packers, who have had success with the defense. The Ravens, too. I mean, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson gets a lot of hype, but that defense is incredible. Bills defense, a lot of teams winning with their defense. But for me, when you have a defensive head coach, it's a little bit difficult strictly because situations, right, are always handled on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive coach has to react to everything. On the offensive side of the ball, do you go for it? When do you use the timeout? Do you punt here? Do you do this? That's all offensive coaches having to make that decision. The defensive coaches always have to rely on reacting to what the other person is doing. Now, I'm not saying that defensive coordinators have a lower football IQ than offensive coaches. I'm just saying that the team is led by the quarterback, so the coach that is directly coaching that person in that side of the ball, who also understands a lot more about situational football, should be the decision maker. Now, Bill Belichick's a noted defensive guy. He's the best at situational football that it's ever been. So I assume there's some outliers. But for me, I always lean and tend towards the thought that offensive coordinators are going to get jobs before defensive coordinators, just strictly because of that. And it's a much more flashy thing on the offensive side that you would want your program led by.
Yeah, and right now it's been an offensive league. But it's funny you say that because it seems like the defensive guys are great motivators, but they're in-game. Like Tomlin, his critique has been over his career, great motivator of his players, but his in-game situational timeouts, things like that, has been questioned. And that's defensive guy versus an offensive guy who's normally good at that.
Well, the defensive – now, granted, there's offensive guys that aren't good at it, too.
Andy Reid.
I mean, there's a lot of – whoa.
Andy Reid's known for not using a timeout in the correct place a lot of
Jeez.
I mean, can he just won the division? Can you just have a day?
Tone.
They got to buy.
Can he have a day, please?
Tone. I mean, come on.
You've changed, bro.
Pete Carroll.
Mike McCarthy.
What?
Offensive guys who are not
just
great.
have tough times every once in a while. Well, Pete's a defensive guy.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's a defensive guy. I don't think he's an offensive guy. Is Pete Carroll an either side guy? I don't think he is.
He's just happy.
Right
He's
in
just
the
a
middle.
happy guy.
He's just right in the middle. By the way,
Loves them both.
Hey, he's a great leader of men, though. I guess people love him. He doesn't have to do anything on the offense side or defense side of the ball. That's the gig there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That you are just the CEO. Because that's what happened. When you become a head coach, you become a CEO. A lot more things start falling to your desk than you could imagine. You know, whether it's tweets that a punter sent out you have to deal with. You have to deal with all this other stuff, day-to-day schedule. There's a lot more to it. And in my eyes, I just feel like the offensive coordinator is always going to get the favor over a defensive coordinator just because there's a lot that goes into it. And situational football is a real thing.
Well, and I look at a guy like Vic Fangio, too, who was one of the hottest names because the Bears defense was so good last year. He goes to Denver. Granted, they didn't have a quarterback.
Hey, they got one now.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
So, but, is he the guy to kind of guide Drew Lock through that process? I guess we'll see. But, I think you're right.
Because the quarterback is your team.
Right.
You go as the quarterback goes. I mean, that's just the way the NFL is and always will be. You can have a great defense. That's beautiful. That's a necessity if you really want to be a great team, is you have to have a good defense. But the quarterback is the guy. The head coach has to have a great relationship with the quarterback. That's just how it goes. In a defensive coordinator, if you're dealing with the defensive side of the ball every day, like Zimmer, they talk about how Zimmer, the Vikings are just two different practices. How Zimmer's always with the defense and the offense is just off by themselves. That's an interesting thing. That's an interesting dynamic. Now, granted, the Vikings have had some success with it. I think they're running into a buzzsaw with the Saints, who are playing Drew Brees into the fourth quarter up 40 points.
Yeah, it's wild.
That was wild. That was insane.
They were all in there.
Yeah, but maybe Drew doesn't want to come out. You know, maybe Drew's like, hey, I would like to continue to play to stack these stats that I'm dominant, and I wasn't a part of the NFL All-100 team.
Kind of selfish, though, because Teddy needed one touchdown pass to get a nice little bonus yesterday. So
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Drew will write him a check.
I don't think so. That's definitely a move that was made then. Wow. I didn't know that the Saints would do that to a player. Oh, no.
$250,000 bonus if he throws 10 touchdowns on the season. He had 9.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, they were up 35
Hey, I got questions.
at half. They were up 35 at half.
Did Sean Payton do that on purpose so Teddy Bridgewater wouldn't get his bonus? I've seen players get pulled at particular times because they had to have a percentage of plays played, and they miss out on a bonus by like 4 plays. It's the nature of the beast. It's a bad business. Hey, that's bad business. That'll come back and get you. You know how it'll get you? Pass interference call in the end zone. So you don't get a bad week. You don't get a bye week. That's karma right there. That's not good. Maybe that's why Teddy said, I'm gone. Maybe this is why Teddy will leave.
I'd sign him.
Where you would?
Yeah.
Behind Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, Tone.
What do you mean?
Already, Tony?
No, your eyes said that you would start Teddy Bridgewater over Ben Roethlisberger. Your eyes said it.
He's not going to sit for it. He can go anywhere he wants to start. He's not going to sit for a year behind Ben.
Not anywhere, but there's going to be a lot of options for him.
This is big news right here.
Breaking news?
Yeah, we could call it breaking news.
Oh! Wait, you got to wait for it. We got to dig into a file.
There we go.
Yep. Oh.
Breaking news from the desk of Frank Lefko Marola.
Pro Football Focus has announced the punter of the decade, and it is indeed Pat McAfee by a landslide.
Let's go! That's pretty cool.
Stand up. Take a bow.
Yeah,
Take a bow.
Come on. Do a lap. Thank you. Hey, good. Hey, good for me, huh?
What a decade. Hey. What a decade.
Good for me. I wasn't on the NFL 100 team, but I was on the Pro Football Focus All-Decade team. This decade, if you want to punt a ball, it comes through Pat McAfee's house.
Hey, what do we always say? Men lie, numbers don't.
Numbers don't. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Oh, yeah. Good for me. Hey, Pro Football Focus put something out the other day. It was last week or something like that. It was like their top-rated punter seasons or whatever the last decade. I had no idea it was that good.
Yeah, they have You Here at 1 at 95.3 for the graded. I don't know if that's for the entire decade or.
Score.
But then they have Thomas Morstead at 2 at 92.4 and Johnny Hecker at 3 at 91.
Good guys.
These guys are all pretty good. Oh, yeah. Feels good. Let's get to a break.
Hey, the Browns have requested to interview Ravens OC Greg Roman for their head coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now. Now look out for Greg Roman potentially going to the Panthers with Cam Newton.
You think they run the Lamar Jackson offense with athlete Baker Mayfield?
Or do you think they sign Colin Kaepernick?
Oh!
I know who they're not going to sign, and that's the punter of the decade. It's 11:15 here on the East Coast, 8:15 on the West Coast. In the middle, you got all those time zones as well. It's Monday, December 30th, and you're listening to the Punter of the Decade show, Pat McAfee Show.
Undiagnosed heart condition, awesome. And erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
This is some interesting music. 11:19, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Let's run through these playoff games and give quick predictions, shall we, from the wild card weekend. Bills at Texans. We all like the Texans?
Yes.
I think so,
I
yeah.
do.
You like the Texans, unless the Bills can show up. When we watched the Bills do to Duck Hodges, an undefeated quarterback at the time, I don't think is what we're going to see now. I think the Texans at home with J.J. Watt returning like a Marshawn Lynch type boost could be a massive thing. But the Texans have faltered in playoffs in the past, so it wouldn't put it past them.
Maybe lean Texans because of experience. Josh Allen Bills are not this young team. They're not used to being in the playoffs.
True.
Yeah, but the Bills did beat the Dolphins this year, so you got to think they're pretty hot right now.
Okay, let's go to that. Titans at Patriots. Everybody likes the Titans?
I do.
Diggs likes the Titans.
I'll see what the line is, but I think I do too.
It's
5.5.
Oh, Titans plus 5.5? Hammering Titans plus 5.5.
Love
Have
it.
no idea if they get the win or not. I am not. By the way, no, I'm not betting. I wrote a note to myself. Do not bet against the Patriots. I wrote that note to myself. Now, granted, did that lose me money yesterday against the Dolphins? Absolutely, it did. But I wrote a note, do not bet against the Patriots. I won't do it, even though I really like the Titans plus 5.5. Connor, you even like the Titans plus 5.5.
He does.
No, I'm probably going to take the Pats minus 13. Are you kidding me? Buy that mother.
Minnesota at New Orleans got the Saints to win by, what'd you just say?
No, he caught himself.
I caught myself.
He caught himself.
Minnesota at New Orleans Saints. We like the Saints, obviously,
Yeah.
against the Vikings. And Seattle at Philly. We all like
Philly.
Seattle.
that
Seattle
one's
on the
gonna be-
road.
I think we got a lot of very good games here. Now, I really don't. Like Philadelphia won the NFC East, which everybody called a sham because Philadelphia's playing with, I think, like their 90th and 98th guys on their roster from injuries. I think a lot of credit needs to be said about Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson being able to win with all of their players being hurt. A lot of other teams rely on the excuse that their good players got hurt. The Philadelphia Eagles, now granted, they're in a terrible division with terrible football teams, still being able to win in the ways that they've been able to win with the playmakers that they haven't had is something that is impressive. You listen to Dan Orlovsky talk about Carson Wentz. Dan Orlovsky, by all accounts, has a good brain. The man is a smart man. He wears weird glasses and says a lot of dumb things at sometimes, but he's a very smart man, and he's taking a stand for Carson Wentz for a reason. Carson Wentz is a good football player. Do they have enough, though, to win in the playoffs? I'm not 100% sure. I think Seattle Seahawks are a good matchup for them because the Seahawks always are ugly, too. Like, you never know what you're going to expect with them. They seem to not have a lot of weapons. I'll be excited to see who wins that game. Both of them lose in the next round no matter what.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, first quarterback to throw for over 1,000 yards and not have any of his receivers over 500 yards.
That's incredible.
Yeah, just startling.
Absolutely startling.
So yesterday, Miles Sanders got hurt, and their starting right guard, I believe, was carted off too. Like
Doug Peterson should be in a conversation for Coach of the Year. Now it's going to Harbaugh, obviously, for what happened with them and how good they've been. But there's some people that should be in conversation for being able to win without players because there's a lot of coaches that rely on their players getting hurt to expand or to get another year. Basically, they're like, you know what? We get another shot with a full roster, we'll be good next year. We get another shot with a full roster, we'll be good next year. Where these guys are like, hey, listen, I don't give a damn who we have. We're going to go out there and win a game. Doug Peterson's been able to do that with the handsome ginger Carson Wentz, who was almost photographed nude in the locker room.
Oh, close.
A
lot of thigh.
A lot of thigh. A lot of upper body. A lot of thigh. Been there, done that. I wonder if that media person is going to get fined $15,000 for that and shunned from the organization. I wonder if that's going to happen. I don't know. All right, let's get some phone calls. You want to go to Probveer in Avon, Indiana? Let's do it. Probveer, what's good?
Hey, what's up? Hello? 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 What happened? Hello?
Probveer, are you going to say something?
I wanted to ask about Jacoby Brissett. What do you think the Colts need to do?
Probveer, I have no idea. You big Colts fan. Sorry we had to do that to you. I mean, it was just there was a moment of silence there on the other side. I appreciate your patience there. You were panicking, but you handled yourself well with what happened here. I thank you for that. Jacoby Brissett, I have no idea. Are you a big Colts fan? What do you want him to do?
Huge Colts fan. I mean, I love Justin Herbert. I think that would be a great pickup, but I doubt he falls to 13.
I think he will fall to 13. I think he'll fall further than that. I mean, that Utah game, I think that Utah game, he looked good in that game, but I think there's some games this year where he doesn't look like an NFL guy. And I might be wrong here whenever it comes to scouting and stuff like that, but I like the look in their eyes whenever they show him on the sideline. That guy doesn't have the look that I would like my quarterback to have. He looked like he was a little bit lost at sometimes, but there's been a lot of quarterbacks that have done good with that look. I mean, Jared Goff had that look in college. He's had success. There's been people that have done that. In my eyes, I didn't get the Herbert hype. I never understood it. He dominated Utah, which was fun to watch, but I'm not sure you're betting an entire franchise on him. I think he will slip past 13 for sure, and maybe Ballard pulls the trigger on him, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, Jacob Eason could be a good pickup with that Redskins pick we have.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So you're moving on past Jacoby for sure.
I mean, after those last 8 weeks, it was a struggle.
I know.
First 7 weeks, even like late going into week 12, I was all in. I was hammering Jacoby Brissett. I'm like, it's okay, we'll pick it up. And then it just every week you just get to a point where you're like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah, I think he's right too, by the way. I think after that injury, a lot of things changed. He hasn't had an offseason as a starter for Jacoby Brissett. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what the Herbert thing is, though. I never really understood it. They were hyping that up early. They were hyping it up very, very early. They lose to Auburn that first game, I think, and then it kind of all changed. But I didn't see what everybody else saw.
I just looked at 4 mock drafts quickly. Take it for what it is. They all have him going number 6 to the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. I think they're going to try to get Tom Brady over there. Let's go to Logan in Owensboro, Kentucky. What's going on, Logan?
Hey, Pat. I just wanted to talk about how Carson Wentz has proved all the doubters and haters wrong, and he has been the only person on our team to not get injured all season, carried us into the playoffs. Let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I respect that a lot. Let's go to Josh in Illinois before we get to a break. Josh, what's up?
Hey, how we doing, Pat? Just wanted to say real quick to Connor, I don't think the Patriots are ready for the 6'2", 240-pound pain train coming into Derrick Henry is going to make mincemeat out of him.
Get off the tracks.
And I just want to ask if you ever think that there'll be a talented individual like yourself that will do the punting and the kicking, and could that potentially free up a roster spot for somebody else that is a quote-unquote punter, but it's more like a Tyreek Hill?
No. Josh, great question. I think it's a lot of work on a person's leg. I think it would be difficult to maintain throughout the length of an NFL season. I thought I could do it early in my career. I thought I had the ability, learning from Adam Vinatieri, that whole thing. I was going to think about going and doing it. It's a long season, though, and if you have your eggs in one basket, as soon as one thing goes wrong, now you're completely fornicated in 2 different positions. That could be tough, but maybe somebody will be able to do it. I'm not 100% sure. That was always my sell to everybody, though. It was like, I could do both. You guys could bring in another athlete, but as soon as I roll an ankle or something with a knee, then they're screwed in 2 positions, and we've already seen how bad it is out there when you have to bring in 2 backups.
I was going to say about Jacoby.
Yeah.
I mean, his downfall came after his injury.
Yeah.
So, maybe he's just a really tough guy and he shouldn't have been playing the last.
I trust Chris Ballard. I think he'll make it. I also trust the pain train. 11:27. We got to get to a break. Chris Johnson, former Tennessee Titans superstar, will be joining us to talk about the pain train, the Tennessee Titans, and what he sees in the playoffs. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Over 60% of men experience significant hair loss by age 35. Some shave it or hide it, but some of us want to treat it. That's why there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get personalized hair loss treatment and unlimited follow-ups from a U.S. licensed physician. If treatment is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping. Get started today with a free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
song.
Goes hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a man who is an all-pro. He has the NFL record for yards from scrimmage in a season at 2,509 yards. This man was electric every time he touched the ball. Can't wait to chat with him from the Tennessee Titans, Mr. Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's happening?
What type of car are you in right there? That leather interior right there looks very, very nice.
Just a Benz.
Hey, congratulations. Happy New Year. Beautiful car. What have you seen from Derrick Henry this year that has really made this Tennessee Titans team a complete threat and also a team that can travel on the road and win in the playoffs?
Oh, man. I've been saying it a long time. They just got to put the offense on his back. Just go in the game and say we're going to give him 30 touches, and he's going to do what he got to do. Like, he's the type of back where you can't just give him 10, 15 carries. He gotta get going. He gotta get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Once he get on the road, it's gonna be hard to stop him. He a big guy.
Okay, so I've always wondered about this, where they have like 2 running backs or 3 running backs, and they try to give him the ball like every once in a while. We had Frank Gore on our team, and they were trying to manage his reps. But Frank Gore was like, no, I need the ball so I can keep going. I can't be splitting reps. Is that a real thing for running backs that, even those 1-yard runs or minus 1-yard runs, that's all helping build towards later in the game?
Yeah, it builds confidence. And once, the word that the running back uses, you want to get in your groove. And it's hard to get in your groove when the first quarter you might get 3 carries, second quarter you might get 5 carries, and then you look up and then the game is over and you probably got 10, 12 carries. You never gave him a chance to get in his groove, and I think a lot of that was happening with Derrick Henry early on in his career. And then once you go back and look at the backside of last year, and then this year as well, the beginning of the year, he wasn't getting as many touches. And then now you see towards the end of the year how they're featuring him and he's getting a lot of carries. It's like he's getting in his groove, and he in his groove. Now you got a running back like to get a lot of carries at the beginning of the game. So by the time you get to the fourth quarter, he's in his groove, and it's hard to stop him then.
Because, for instance, last night, Marshawn Lynch showed up after a 14-month layoff. He was serving shots of tequila a week and a half before that. His first play in the game was a play action, and I saw him jump out of the way to hit somebody. It's like he needed to get hit again to kind of get back in it. What do you expect from Marshawn Lynch, especially after this layoff? He looked like he still had some juice. I don't know how he is cardiovascular-wise, but his body looked like he still had some juice. Should we expect 10, 12 carries going forward, or do you think they're going to put more and more on him?
I think they're going to work him in. He's been away from the game for so long, and it don't matter how you work out and the things you do and stuff. Nothing gets you in shape like football shape. I don't think he's in football shape right now, but I think the further they go in the playoffs, he'll eventually get in the groove and get in the shape. And the more in shape he's in, the more carries he'll get.
Do you think that they're going to pay Derrick Henry down there in Tennessee, or do you think he's going to become a free agent?
Why wouldn't they pay him?
That's a great question. Nobody wants to pay running backs anymore, though. It seems like running backs, if they want to get paid, they have to do these drastic measures. Like I would expect at this point, he's the rushing leader of the year. He's the champ. Yeah. He's turned around their entire season. You would think an extension would have already happened for Derrick Henry. Instead, we're going into a playoff where they're going into New England with a potential shot at really winning this thing and moving forward. And there hasn't been any conversation about that. They're going to let it get to free agency and move forward. Why does it feel like running backs don't get paid as on the same schedule as everybody else?
I don't know. They trying to devalue the position or whatever. But I think with Derrick Henry's situation is I think it's a trust factor with him because a lot of people in Nashville are in just the sports world. They wrote him off. They wrote Derrick Henry off. They didn't believe in him. So it was at one point in time, he wasn't even a starter or whatever like that. So I think it's more of a trust issue thing with him as far as they not sure what they're going to get from him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like thing, what I've been saying the whole time, you just got to put the offense on his back and give him the carries, and he's gonna do what he need to do. So I don't see why they wouldn't pay him. I think they should pay him or whatever. So it's just a situation to see what they're gonna do.
You think the Titans beat the Patriots?
Of course.
Whoa. What? So you're 100% certain of that. It's not even like that wasn't even like a question. There wasn't even a thought of it. Of course was the answer.
Of course, we owe them one. I still remember last time we played down there, and it was probably like 50-0 in the third quarter.
That happened to a lot of us, CJ. Hey, that happened to a lot of us up there in New England.
Yeah. So we owe them one.
Is this the end of a dynasty up there in New England?
I can't say that.
Why?
I can't. You got Tom Brady. You got Tom Brady. You can never write them off.
His contract is up after this year. There has been no conversations of extension, and there's a lot of conversation of him potentially leaving. All they're worried about is the Titans this week. If they lose to the Titans, which you're 100% certain of, do you see this being the end of the dynasty up there?
I don't think so.
Oh, my gosh. Connor, that has to make you feel
Feels
good.
great.
Hey, who's winning the Super Bowl? Is it the Titans?
Yeah, of course.
What has Vrabel done to that team to make them such a better team and to believe? Is it Tannehill? Is it Derrick Henry? It feels like they've all kind of bought in. The Titans have always been this close to being this elite team, and it seems like they're at that point now. What has Vrabel done to make that happen?
I think he's going back to the old Titans game plan, even from Eddie George and then all the way up until when I was there and we went to the playoffs that year. Great defense and running the ball. A lot of things that they was doing at the beginning of the year, they was trying to throw the ball a lot and do a lot of different things. And then it's like now they back to the old ways. We're gonna give Derrick Henry the ball 25 times and we're gonna play good defense.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens in New England. I told myself I wouldn't bet against the Patriots anymore, so I can't do it this weekend. A lot of people are hammering Titans plus.
You're not rocking with me?
Chris, I lost so much money betting against the Patriots. What game was it?
Bills.
I thought the Bills were going to go in there because the Bills had this great defense. They were playing well. They shut out Duck Hodges, basically. This was the moment for the Bills to take that next step. They go into Foxborough. I'm like, Bills got this outright. Patriots cover 6.5 somehow, and I told myself I'm never betting against the Patriots ever again. But this weekend feels like a game where I might break that and hammer the Titans plus 5.5 because everybody feels that way.
Oh, Vegas got Titans plus 5?
Yeah. Chris, we appreciate you so much for your time, brother. Enjoy your trip, and good luck to your Titans. I can't wait to talk to you again next week when the Titans get a win.
Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, CJ2K, Chris Johnson. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Good guy.
Smart man.
Hell of a football player. 2,509 yards.
It's a lot.
2,509 yards in one season. Imagine your body running 9 yards. Now imagine running 509 yards. And now imagine 2,509 yards in one season. He was an animal, dude. And he used to be able to pass protect, too. Whenever you see him on Twitter chirping every once in a while, talk about running backs not being able to pass protect, he's like, that's a big part of this whole thing. He was an undersized guy who was very fast. Everybody's like, oh, this guy can get out in space. He was running in between tackles. He was pass protecting. He's an animal. Good for him. He likes the Titans a lot. Feed Derrick Henry, he says, get him in their groove.
Well, yeah, Derrick Henry's like, he brought up Eddie George, and us growing up, we saw the bust. It's like first quarter, second quarter, those 1, 2, 3 yard runs, and when they start taking a toll on the defense, third and fourth quarter, they turn into 8, 12, 25-yard runs, and that's what the Titans have to do.
Yeah, you got it. Like that, I learned a lot there with that Frank Gore situation whenever we were at the Colts. Because we had like we had 3 backs. I forget who the other 2 were. I think maybe Boom Heron and somebody else. And Frank Gore was getting the ball like 1, 2 times a quarter, and then they were like this whole thing. And Frank was like, "This is not how I like." He was very appreciative of the opportunity. He loved it, but like listening to people talk about him and how he runs and stuff, he's like, "This is not how it goes." So whenever you see a running back like get in and get out, then get in and get out, I often wonder in their eyes, like, "Hey, I need to start feeling this so I can start seeing things better." Because I think you can obviously read a little bit better if you have more action and more reps. And sometimes you just can't do it because of the fear of them getting hurt. Like Marlon Marlon Mack, for instance, for the Colts. He is an incredible running back, but I'm not sure his body's going to be able to withstand a beating of an entire season ever. Like, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to do that, but it seems like the more times he gets the ball, the better he is. So it's almost like a gift and a curse. And I think with Derrick Henry, them feeding him the rock, put the team on his back, I think it's like Novocaine. Just got to wait. It's always going to work, and I think that's a real thing.
Also, shout out to a dude who can take a beating. Christian McCaffrey finished with 2,392 yards, only the third running back to ever have 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards.
And Chris Johnson, we asked him early in the season if he thought Christian McCaffrey would be able to get him, and he said, I don't know, man. That's a lot of yards. Think about that. Chris Johnson beat him by 200 yards. Think about the year Christian McCaffrey had. Only running back ever to have 1,000 and 1,000. And Chris Johnson, or third running back to have 1,000 and 1,000. And Chris Johnson beat him by 200 yards. That's another 2 games. That's another 200. Oh, my God. He was so good back in the day. He used to get it, too. He ran a 4.2 or whatever.
Yeah.
As soon as he got it in space, it was gone. Looked like Trevor Lawrence. Looked like Trevor Lawrence.
He's a gazelle.
By the way, I dropped 11 personnel on game day.
Oh, nice.
I dropped an entire thing, a shade, a chip, a this, a that. I tried to drop real football knowledge in there. No crowd. Had to do my thing. First time college game day, he's asked me the day before what I'd like to talk about, though. So that's good.
There you go.
That's fun. That was a fun thing. Normally it's like, hey, all right, you're going to be here, you're going to be here, you're going to be here. All right, what are we talking about? All right, we're talking about this, this, and this. I'm like, oh, okay. No, nothing about any of that.
The Moments of the Year thing was cool.
It was, wasn't it? That Joe Burrow Heisman speech, that was real. In that video they put together, the editors over there, they like made me cry like I was crying. That game day thing is a lot of fun. Every time we're there, it's a lot of fun. Just such an incredible operation. And without the crowd, I thought it was going to be interesting. It was cool, kind of the different spots. I enjoyed my game day time. I think I'm doing a mega cast for the national championship.
Are you?
Really?
Whoa.
I think so.
I enjoy those.
I think so. I think it's going to be on like ESPN2 too.
Yeah, that's where they're normally. So they used to do the game and then the coaches one and then the mega cast one. Did they still do the coaches one last year, man?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did the coaches one. I think it's digital. I think.
Because it's always on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU is on one of them. Those are good times.
I'm gonna have a good. It's me. I think me and Adam Amin.
Oh, nice.
My guy Adam. I don't know how it works. I have no idea how.
You
it
just
works.
talk about the game while it's on.
Oh, that's gonna be a good time.
It's literally like you're. I almost said shooting the. It's like you're sitting around and shooting the stuff.
Shooting the breeze.
Shooting the breeze.
Shooting the what?
Talk about the game.
What's the stuff?
Poopy.
You can't
Let's
say
get to a
that.
call. This guy's name is Tall. What up, Tall?
Hey, Pat. Big fan of the show. Congrats on the punter of the decade thing.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Tall.
It means a lot, Tall.
I just wanted to know, with the way Darnold and Anderson have been connecting in these last 8 games, if the Jets should re-sign him, and if so, what the deal should look like and how he should fit into the offense.
It feels like something they should. Robbie Anderson is a guy who I think have shown up for the Jets on a regular occasion.
Skinniest dude in the league, I think.
Skinniest guy ever. He was a returner there for a little bit, too, I think, at one point. I remember punting.
He's fast. He's a good deep threat.
Very fast. I would assume the Jets are going to have a lot of changes to be made. Don't ask Adam Gase about him, though. He's not happy about any of them. They asked Adam Gase, I guess, today in a press conference or yesterday in a press conference if he wants Le'Veon Bell back for next year, and he said he's on contract for 3 more years. Ask Joe what's going to happen. Just Adam Gase seems like a perpetual prick.
Yeah. And he
doesn't win.
The article came out last week when people were criticizing him. He's like, I don't care. I make millions more dollars than they do. So
he seems like a real prick. Real guy you want to root for. It's a real shame. He has stunk everywhere he's been.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just put concrete around his ankles and throw him into the East River.
He was the dude who said Devontae Parker wasn't good enough. And then Devontae Parker went off this year and had 3,000 yards against Gilly Lock.
Look who's throwing the football. But
yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different. Well, Tannehill's in the playoffs.
That's true.
So, I mean, that guy just seems like a prick. I don't know anything about him.
Not seems.
We don't know him.
I think he is. Yeah, I think
you know enough about him.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen enough. I think everyone's seen enough. I think he's just an asshat.
Well, you all know what season it is. Okay, we're right in the middle of bowl season. You don't have to play music for this. We're right in the middle of bowl season.
Right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of it.
Dead smack.
But it's not just any bowl season. It is the biggest and best bowl season of all time. And you know why? Because Cheez-It is now the official snack of bowl season.
Hey! Cheez-It.
Yes, Cheez-It, the cheesy, crunchy, satisfying snack, is proud to be an official sponsor of the College Football Playoff. But Cheez-It didn't stop there. Cheez-It also made its way out to the desert for the Cheez-It Bowl, where we saw the Cougars from Washington State take on the Falcons from the Air Force Academy. And man, did we have fun, didn't we, Foxy?
Yes, sir.
The Air Force Academy was stumbling, fumbling, bumbling all over the field. 9-minute drives. 22-minute drives, it felt like. The Washington State Cougars just couldn't get out of their own way, and the Air Force Falcons took advantage of that. Got a chance to see Mike Leach in person. Handsome guy. Didn't get to meet him like Handshake meet him, but you get it, you got it. We sat in a story-and-a-half Cheez-It box with a group of great men.
Yes, sir.
The sweepstakes winners were incredible, and then we had some veterans with us, too, that won from VetTix some tickets to sit in the box with us. Good. Best part of the entire trip was the humans that we were sitting with in that box.
I agree, and you also caught a pass from Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf down the sideline.
Still got it?
Got both feet in,
Both
too.
feet in, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough being talked about that. Double tap. There was another one, a little low, slipped off my fingertips. We didn't post it because that's what the internet's for. I was the master of cheese. Obviously, we all know that. And even though the 2019 Cheez-It Bowl is over, the fun doesn't stop thanks to Cheez-It. Cheez-It is the perfect snack to watch the rest of the bowl games with. So do your taste buds a favor and go get yourself a box of Cheez-It snacks. Cheez-It, the official sponsor of the College Football Playoff. Let's talk about the College Football Playoff. Any chance Clemson stops LSU?
No way.
I don't think so.
No way.
I think they might score more than them, but I don't think they're stopping them.
More than who?
LSU.
Oh, you think Clemson's going to win?
I do.
Real
Tony.
I thought Ohio State would have been a better matchup for LSU personally. I don't think the Clemson matchup with LSU is a good one. But, boy, you think the Clemson's going to beat LSU right there?
I do.
You're hammering that right now?
No, I'm going to wait because the price keeps going up. It started at
3.
Clemson +3, and now they're +6.
Yeah, I think that LSU team, it could be what have you done for me lately because they put up 500 yards and he threw for 8 touchdowns or 7 touchdowns or something like that, which a lot of people could be running off of. But, man, after watching Joe Burrow in person, which we got to do at that SEC championship game, that guy is the truth. He really is. And listening to Coach O talk about how we'll play anybody anywhere, he says they don't care. They have that mindset, that attitude. And I like and respect Trevor Lawrence's game. I like him a lot. I like the way he plays football. I like ETN. I think he's a dynamic player, but I just don't know how anybody stops this Joe Burrow legacy that's currently on the rise. It seems like he's winning at everything, and this just seems like another obstacle for him to kind of just take over and dominate.
It's a team of destiny feel.
It does.
Yeah.
It does have that feel.
It
right
really
now.
does, yeah.
Even Joe Burrow's winning these basketball shootouts. I mean, it's just like Joe Burrow is winning at everything. I don't know how Clemson stops him, but I'll be interested to see what Dabo Swinney puts together.
Because like LSU and Alabama this year was 46-41. I could see it being somewhere around that. And there's no reason that Clemson can't in a high scoring
It's
of a
in
game.
Louisiana too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in New Orleans.
That was in Bryant Denny or whatever. That was
Yeah.
in Alabama. That
Yeah.
game that you're talking about. There's gonna be a lot of Cajuns.
It's going to be like 75% LSU fans.
At least maybe 80-20 there. Clemson travels, though. We were out there. A lot of orange out there.
There was.
Clemson fans travel because their team is damn good. I don't know how you stop Joe Burrow, though. I'm excited to watch Dabo Swinney and Clemson try to figure it out. They got dudes on that team. I'm excited to watch them try to figure it out. But, boy, I don't know how LSU gets stopped this year.
Yeah, because they have 2 incredible wide receivers.
Do stop them. I think it's a shootout. And you hopefully Clemson can score more. Like earlier with Ole Miss and how many points and yards they put up on LSU's D.
Trevor Lawrence can run.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, he can run. Now, did they figure out their problem they had with John Rice Plumlee, that LSU defense? I think so. I think Fields wasn't as mobile as people could have thought he was, or the run game wasn't. But Trevor Lawrence on that run, where he looked like he was running 22 miles an hour, he's 6'6", 220, and he can run like that and make every throw. There's general managers all around the NFL that are just salivating watching him play. But I just don't know how you stop Joe Burrow this year. It does seem like a team of destiny, which a lot of people say isn't true. It works in everything. Team of destiny works in everything.
Yep.
I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, me too. January 13th.
There'll be a lot of eyes on that game.
A lot of eyes on the MegaCast. Let's go to Justin in Tucson. Justin in Tucson, Arizona. What's going on, pal?
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Hey, why is it raining in the desert? Hey, hold on. I'm so sorry. You were probably told to go immediately, which Todd does a great job with, but I do have a question. We landed in Phoenix. It was raining. It was cold. I thought one of the main ingredients of a desert is it doesn't rain. It rained the entire time we were there, pal.
So I'm actually not from Tucson. I'm in the Navy and stationed in Tucson. Don't ask me why. There's no water. I don't understand it either.
Well, thanks for your
When I first moved there, everyone was like, yeah, it never rains. And then the first week I was there, it rained. So I'm just as appalled as you are.
Okay, well, thanks for your service. What do you want to talk about?
So Brian Flores and the Dolphins. Obviously, rocky start in the beginning. Terrible start in the beginning. Everyone thought they were tanking the season for that number 1 pick. I did myself. And then the last 10 games of the season, they win 6 out of 10 and then do the unthinkable, going to Foxborough and upset the Patriots with Fitzmagic driving down the field in the last 3 minutes to win the game for them. Do you think this is the turnaround they needed, that the team's finally buying into Brian Flores?
Oh, yeah, Justin, thank you for your service. Everybody, including Dolphins fans, I think watch Brian Flores in his attitude and the way that team has played for him when the management was obviously trying to tank. I think he has inspired a group of people to play well. Every single week they showed up and showed out. He got Devontae Parker, a guy that was casted away as a bad player, to be a great player. He almost fought the refs one game for his team. I love Brian Flores. And the fact that they have Fitzmagic on contract for another year bodes very well for the Dolphins. Even if they do bring in another quarterback, to have him sit and learn under Fitzpatrick is a great person to have. I'm excited to see what happens with the Dolphins, because if this is the end of a dynasty and Tom Brady leaves and the Bills are going to be good, is the AFC East all of a sudden the Dolphins division? I'll be excited to see if Brian Flores does that.
Incredible opportunity, I think, personally, to bring in Tua and let him get healthy for a year and learn behind Fitzpatrick and then take over the year after that.
Not a bad play there. Not a bad, because Tua probably will fall. And you have a year to let him kind of get healthy, let him learn. He's an incredibly accurate passer. That's a guy you want on your team.
I think he's lefty Russell Wilson.
Well, he's actually a righty. That doesn't get to, imagine how good Tua would be if he was throwing with his actual dominant hand. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody does.
His dad tied his arm to his side. Last call, let's go to Evan in San Diego. Evan, what's going on?
What's going on, boys?
What's going
Happy
on?
Black Monday.
Hey, happy Black Monday to you, too. It's a terrible day for a lot of people. Good for us with some fodder. We got about 30 seconds left. What do you want to talk about?
All right. Lincoln Riley to the Cowboys. Jalen Hurts isn't expected to go in this draft until the 2nd or 3rd round. They get Dak Prescott on a franchise tag for his first year, draft Jalen Hurts, they go forward, and if Dak and Lincoln don't work out, they can ride the hot hand with Jalen Hurts.
Not a bad call there. I don't know if that Dak and Jalen are anywhere near comparable, but
No,
I'll be
not
excited
even
to see
close.
that. This guy, Nate in Jackson, Mississippi, says Urban Meyer to the Browns is a great fit. I actually agree with him. That's actually probably not a bad call. Him go to the Browns, Urban Meyer up there directing traffic with a good offense coordinator, good defense coordinator. Who knows? A lot more on Black Monday, a lot more news. We'll be back tomorrow with Chitter Chatter. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. You all are the absolute best.
Thank you, Don.